They call it the house that screams, a place where the walls breathe, where shadows slither across floors that no one walks. But the scariest part, the screams you hear late at night, they aren't just echoes. They belong to something or someone still inside. What you're about to hear is one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries of our time. It begins in 1985 in the quiet town of Woodhaven, Virginia. The house at 86 Willow Lane had always been an eyesore. Locals avoided it, murmuring about its strange past. It had been abandoned for decades, left to rot after a string of disturbing deaths took place here. Its darkened history dates back to 1912, when it first became infamous after the unsolved murder of the Darlington family. A husband, wife and their 2 children, all found butchered in their beds without a single sign of forced entry. The only clue? A blood-soaked Bible open to the Book of Revelations, sitting in the parlor. Witnesses swore the house was cursed. Neighbors spoke of strange noises, scratches under the floorboards, footsteps when no one was home, and most famously the screaming. Piercing guttural cries that tore through the night without warning. Yet, what happened to the Darlingtons was only the beginning. Fast forward to 1985. The house had sat vacant for years, rotting and forgotten, until the Warren family moved in. Richard, a devoted preacher, his wife Sarah and their 14-year-old daughter Emily, thought they could bring light into the darkness. What followed was a nightmare no one could have foreseen. For the first few weeks it seemed like they had succeeded. They painted the walls, fixed the rotting porch, even planted rose bushes where the weeds had grown wild. But then things started to change. According to Sarah's diary entries, it began with small things, objects moving, whispers in the dead of night. Emily complained about nightmares of someone or something standing in her room watching. Richard dismissed it as spiritual resistance, until the night Emily woke up screaming, claw marks shredded into her bedroom wall. The family tried to fight back, reading from the Bible and blessing every corner of the home. But whatever was in the house didn't want to leave. It wanted them. Weeks later, the Warrens stopped showing up to church. Neighbors noticed the once vibrant home darkening again, windows closing, blinds drawn. Then, on the evening of October 17th, something happened that would cement the house's terrifying legacy. A witness reported hearing unearthly screams coming from the house, piercing, endless cries that made even hardened police officers hesitate to enter when they arrived. What they found inside was worse than anyone could imagine. The Warrens were all dead. Richard was found kneeling in the parlor, his hands clasped as if in prayer, but his eyes were completely burned out. Sarah was discovered in her bedroom, her reflection etched in shards of a shattered mirror, her mouth sewn shut with thread. And Emily was found buried beneath the floorboards of her room, still clutching that same Bible left by the Darlingtons decades earlier. The page, Revelations, chapter 13, The Beast Rises. Even after their deaths, the house was far from silent. The screams continued. Neighbors reported hearing Emily's voice begging for help, and Richard's tormented prayers echoing inside the walls. Paranormal investigators brave enough to enter claimed to feel something cold and endless watching them, pushing them to the edge of madness. The house, now abandoned again, remains untouched. No one dares live there. Locals cross the street rather than walk past its gates. And every year, on the anniversary of that fatal October night, residents still swear they hear the screams. Authorities closed the case decades ago, frustrated by the lack of physical evidence, but Sarah's diary left one final horrifying detail. A line repeatedly scrawled across the last blood-stained page. But tell me, if you found yourself alone on 86 Willow Lane and heard a scream coming from inside, would you go in, or would you run and never look back? If you dared to stay until the end, the house is calling you to join the story. But first, hit that like button, subscribe for more haunting tales, and comment what you think really happened inside the house that screams. Until next time, stay haunted.